Welcome to Aligned Energy with me, Manon, a place where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. People are waking up, questioning who they are and why they're here. For high-performing women, the climb to success can leave them feeling stuck, depleted, or disconnected. But what if the answer isn't in doing more, but in aligning with your true essence? I'm Manon Veritch, and together with Dr. Pat, this show is about coming home to yourself unapologetically. Through education, ancient wisdom, and modern science, we explore energy as the foundation of healing and transformation. Join us now on Aligned Energy and step into the life you were meant to live. Aligned Energy starts now.
I'm Dr. Pat, and I am so looking forward to this show right now. And, this is a really phenomenal time for me. I don't know about you all, but I know also Manon. And what I mean by that is that things have shifted because we took different action, right? We're going to talk about this. The name of the show for everybody out there is Aligned Energy with Manon, right here with me. But this episode, oh my God, I've cried more in the past 2 weeks than I think I've cried in my entire life. This episode, and Joyce Meyer said it greatest the other day. And now, for those of you out there, don't email me. I listen to Joyce. I read the Bhagavad Gita. I have a lot of spiritual practices. But boy, when she said, people don't think we're normal, and she meant it in a really good way. Because faith, pleasure, purpose, and life transitions, you've got to have them all. But how? What is it that you do? So I want to tell you a little bit about Manon. What Manon does is, especially for women, we're not leaving you guys out. No, we got a whole deal planned for you later this year. But right now, what we're talking about is what action can we take? How do we bring women together? Manon's going to give us a little update on an event she had. But how do we bring people together? And even if you don't know why, see, I think why, Manon, is the curse of manifestation. It's the curse because why gets us into this place of confusion and doubt. But let's talk about the midlife. Now, I don't know how many you've had, but I've had a couple. Let's get into this because you bring people together to help folks understand not just their purpose, but how purposefully amazing they are.
Yeah.
See, amazing.
Yeah.
Look, let's talk about what it means to embody something.
Yeah. I have been living this conversation in real time for the last several years, ever since I, had everything fall apart, everything start to come back together again. I didn't know how, but I had a knowing, but there is this period of time, and I'm sure it's just not a finite period of time. I'm sure it kind of collapses and expands and contracts for any of these things, faith and purpose and pleasure that we're going to be talking about. It's not like you just cross the river and you get to the other side and it's all roses, but it was a really big deal to me because as I've been going through this and reinventing myself and walking away from the identity that I had known myself to be and that everybody around me knew myself to be, and then layering on top of that all of the this three-dimensional world's structures of what security means and what we're supposed to be doing to achieve success and stability, to be able to have an experience so deeply where I just knew that I was meant for something different and that I had to go through something really hard
Mm.
to get to the other side, to be that and to honor what I knew was my purpose has been this exercise in embodiment. So that's that's
Yeah.
my introduction.
Yeah, but I want to talk about a little bit more because there is this thing about embodiment, integration, and change that we don't talk about. And People always, have a conversation with me, whether it's an interview or not, about why did I name the network the Transformation Network? And I used to try to think I had to make up like a story, like, some kind of rational. Now I just say, why not? I woke up one day and that was the idea that the universe gave me,
Yeah.
the Transformation Network. But transformation encompasses, to your point, embodiment. The minute that idea hit me, I didn't know exactly what to do. But see, I think we're a little stuck when we hit the ML, midlife.
That's right.
Better not the ML. Don't you love I gave it a little acronym?
And midlife is a very broad
Oh,
way of saying that this could happen to you in your late 30s. This could happen, because it's starting to happen sooner, right, for people. Because I really do believe that the world needs to wake us up faster and sooner because we can't wait any longer. So midlife maybe used to mean late 40s, mid 50s. I think it's, I'm seeing people now in their late 30s that are coming in like, I don't know what's happening to me.
oh, yeah.
I just can't do this, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So, what does it actually mean to go from intellectually understanding something to living it? I would say that embodiment, my definition of embodiment is really the integration of something that's going from concept into knowing. So it's think about it as like the moment when an idea moves from your mind into your cells. You light up with this knowing, kind of like a Christmas tree. It's when you don't have to convince yourself because you actually become the thing. So
Oh,
think you
that's
can
so
also
good.
think about it like a good analogy would be um, just having somebody give you the instruction to, or maybe you're telling yourself, like, I need to calm down. I need to calm down. Just peace. I'm so stressed out. I just need to calm the F down versus being calm.
Yeah.
It's embodying faith and just absolutely trusting that everything's going to work out. I don't know where the money's going to come from for rent, but I'm not worried about it anymore. I'm not
Yeah.
hoping that that relief or check will come. I'm just like, I trust and I know that if I'm doing what I came here to do,
Hmm.
that people will find me, uh, that the ideas will come for what I'm meant to be offering to people, what they need. And, um, and money's going to show up. And
I gotta say this. I gotta hang with you on this one. And I can't wait till you talk a little story because stories are the essence of why you're so amazing at what you do. And me, I didn't share anything personal for like, okay, how many years? Like a long time on air. Like I just didn't grow up that way. I didn't grow up with tell people what you no. Yeah, I didn't grow up with, yeah, why don't you tell everybody your mom committed suicide, Pat? No, I didn't grow up with that. But once I learned the inner part of my pain and reflected upon the really, really traumatic parts of my life and looked back and said, dang, that homeless experience taught me how to ask for money in the Port Authority, right? Or that hot dog job. But I had to do some healing. So I want to talk about this for a minute because the structures, and these are the structures that show up in life. So I want you to just share a couple things, your own personal story, but you had an event this holiday season. And
Mhm.
is this an exciting time for people? The solstice to change, the 1 year, the fire horse. There's just a lot of that energy. I got some people that are saying to me, Manon, when I say, how you doing about 2025, 2026? They're like, 2025? When did that happen? So I want you to talk a little bit about your experience that you had with this event, but also for you personally, you had to have lived something in order for you now to show up the way you're showing up and help other women.
Yeah, it actually I'm tearing up actually. That's interesting
I'm telling
and
you,
beautiful.
I've been crying every show, but it is the time to
Yeah.
do that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean this is such a powerful topic for me because when when you grow up with the cultural conditioning of and just the way that our nervous systems are wired, right, or to be structured around survival, that whole concept of expanding into the unknown is really freaking scary. And then on top of that, you have everybody around you that's saying, well, okay, so let me back up for a second. So the way that my story went down is that just before 2020, I would say I was realizing that things were not working for me anymore. Things that had come easily and were flowing were not happening anymore. The sales were slowing down, the relationships were getting more challenging, my body was breaking down. I've talked about some of this stuff before, but when it comes down to the security and the stability aspect of my life, um, you know, we always had a lot of income coming in, but we always had a lot of expenses going out.
No
So
kidding.
it really it really hurts my stomach now to think of how much money came in and out in my lifetime. And when that money stops coming in, but the money is still coming out, and you are faced with this reality that this whole setup and system isn't going to work for you anymore, and you're going to have to reinvent yourself, you're going to have to do a pivot in your career, like everything's on the table, and you just go into this overwhelm. And so when I started doing my first vision quest and working with my spiritual mentor, which was really the biggest game changer for me, and that just happened frankly through an acupuncturist friend of mine that suggested that I do a cord cutting. And one thing led to another, and she was saying, I have a vision quest that I do. It's starting in the fall. I think you'd be a prime candidate for it. And so there were only two of us that did the vision quest that year because it was during COVID and everybody was afraid to do anything, outside of their house. But the two of us brave souls and the two shaman that we worked with, um, we embarked on this 9-month journey, and that became sort of the momentum for really journeying into my soul and recognizing what my soul really is versus what my body and my identity is, and what it means to align with your soul's purpose and honor what you came here to do, and just the concept of alignment in general, which is why I'm such a fan of that word that I named my whole entire business after it.
Yeah.
Because once you are aligned with who you truly are and what you came here to be, the concept is that the chaos and the friction falls away and things become easier and more in flow. And the people that you're supposed to meet present themselves, the opportunities, find you, the visions and the dreams that your soul has become known to you because you're not just spun up in your head. So all this to say that I had a complete reinvention of myself. I'm not completely out of technology, but I put it on the back burner and said, I'm really in earnest going to take a look at building this energy medicine business that I have come to know now that is my purpose to evangelize vibrational medicine. But what does that look like? I'm not going to make 7 figures a year, practicing Reiki. So, what does that mean? How do I take all of the things that I've learned in building a business in the corporate world and and parlay that into building a business where I'm actually serving others and helping raise their vibration, helping them live better, more, you know, just better lives in alignment with what they came here to do. How do I go back and
Yeah.
help the people that are where I was 5 or 6 years ago cross this chasm and find peace and faith? So that's a very long way of saying, so
But you know what? It's an interesting way of saying three things. If I can summarize real quick,
yeah.
it's what I started the show out talking about, what this episode's about. So let's just hop like a little quick reminder, because when we deal with emotional things, I don't know about you, I can't even remember my name. Uh, that happened on the show the other day. It's just so funny. But we're talking about embodying faith, pleasure, and purpose in life transitions.
Mm.
Now, I know what you're saying because what you did was you were first, you have to be introduced to the awakening. And the awakening is a degree of discontent, something. But people think about that and they think it has to be like, oh my gosh, like a brick hit me in the head and no, that doesn't mean that's what it is. But there's something that gnaws at us. That tech job you had, my corporate job, dang people out of integrity. Are you kidding me? Are you nuts? Whatever that was that the universe put in front of you and I, it was an invitation.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about, especially for women at midlife, is they are getting invitations. And invitations, number one, to trust. See, you said that. I love what you said because I can't tell you how many people said to me, we're going to take you down to Harbor View. See, if you live in Seattle, everybody knows what Harbor View is, right? They do. And
Mm,
and I'm like, what? What are you doing, Pat? You could get a big fat paying corporate job.
yeah.
You could be in tech, Manon.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yeah. But see, you can't just go there. You have to feel that juiciness inside
Yeah.
with your dream.
Yeah. And the part of the story that I really haven't shared much is that the 2025 was the first year that I wasn't involved in any lawsuits, personal and business lawsuits,
Yeah,
bankruptcies,
yeah,
suppliers that just decided they weren't going to pay me anymore and not honor the
yeah,
contract anymore.
yeah, yeah,
Contracts that were so black and white that I thought this would be a slam dunk and they went sideways.
yep,
People that I really thought had my back that were in positions to support me were were managing up instead of managing down. And I just became so jaded by my corporate world and my business. I was jaded by my personal relationships and uh, I just couldn't believe that people that I thought that I knew
yeah.
were just operating so differently than I would have ever expected, that I would have ever done. And it was just like, but like you said, things kind of have to shake you up and jolt you a little bit, and then you find, like, you start realizing that when you're in that position that you really have to dig deep and see, what do I believe, what is my truth, what am I going to do about this, what am I going to say, am I just going to take this, because you get to the point where you just can't take it anymore and something has to come out. And my whole life was swallowing my words, being a peacekeeper, trying to just, maybe it's part of being a Libra, maybe it's, having some role models of, swallowing words and keeping peace. But you get to the point where all of a sudden you're not even intentionally speaking, the words are just coming out. And I've had all I can stand. I just can't stand it anymore kind of situation.
Yeah.
So I think that was like really pivotal for me too, was recognizing all of this truth needs to come out. And then you start surrounding yourself with communities of people that are saying, you're doing everybody around you a disservice not sharing your truth, not having this frequency that other people where other people can find you and align with you. Um, another pivotal point for me was I had done this workshop where we had to write a manifesto, and they had said, you are not going to be everything to everybody. You need to be very clear on what you are and what you are not. And the concept of not being everything to everybody was really hard for me to take. And so I had to really sit with that and think about that as a life lesson, because it was hard for me to be edgy and say some things about what I was really believing in and feeling strongly about, because I had never done that before. So you definitely go through all these interesting awarenesses, whether it's your career, whether it's when your kids are leaving the house and your relationship, dynamic changes with your partner. You've got the hormonal changes coming in. So who's to say what's responsible for what? But it doesn't really matter so long as the opportunity is
Yeah.
there and you act on it.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I love this. So 2025 was that year for you. What'd you say? No more. 2025 for me, and I'm allowed to say this. My attorney
2020
says
for me.
2020. My attorney says I'm allowed to say this now. 2025, because I am naive. I believe in the best of the best of the people. I really do. I
Mhm.
believe that, if I have a host on the show who is making monthly payments and says, I just had COVID, my mom, got sick. We're not canceling your show. Come on, people. Where's your leverage for compassion? However, my attorney says to me that I can say this because I did not roll over on this. And I'm the kind of person that I walk away sometimes. My attorney says, Pat, you can tell everybody you were sought out and attacked by predators, financial predators, and people that run financial institutions. They did things that are unconscionable. And and I have to tell you, one of them is a major gateway that a lot of y'all use out there to process your payments. Don't, because that company with the little acronym PP, that company can stop and restrict your receivables in a minute. Really? Yeah. So out of this, I didn't know what to do. I'm talking to people. I'm trying to negotiate. I'm sure you tried to negotiate. I'm sure you were
I
like,
appealed on
what?
every level.
Every level. So let's just call it that. However, do you think it was a test? See, because I got to a point where I thought I was playing the game, and all the time that I was trying to work with them, they were building horrific situations against me. And my attorney, I got Robert, and I'm back on the East Coast, and we are not going to do this anymore. But let me ask you, do you think we were being tested?
Well, absolutely. Because if you subscribe to the concept that everything in front of you is an opportunity for growth, every relationship is a mirror, I that we come in with these karmic knots that we're one at a time set to try to, tackle and undo for our evolution. I mean, like I really am fond of saying, probably ad nauseum, and probably my friends hate me for saying that, but I'm just like, well, what do you think's the lesson in that? If you're with a narcissist, the lesson is
Oh,
to learn self-love and boundaries, for example, you know? So if your lesson is being completely screwed out of a contract and a business level that is so completely black and white,
yep.
what's the lesson in that?
Uh,
You know? And I I still am not 100% landed on what the lesson is, but I can tell you I've done a lot of forgiveness kriyas. I just am constantly trying to recognize that, the lesson is in it for me and in my expansion, and that these opportunities are in front of
Hmm.
me to evoke an emotional charge to get me to evolve
Yeah,
and
yeah.
expand.
Okay, so we're going to get on fire with this when we come back because we're going to take a short break, everybody, because Manon's going to share some stuff, but I'm going to make a statement. Everything that happened to me last year set me up for what we created as our workaround. It was the most duality aspect of my life I ever lived. Actually, more duality than when I quit drinking, right? But when we come back, Manon is going to help us understand how do we stay aligned in embodiment. See, I went on, Manon, in my doctoral program to study broken promises. 10 years.
Wow.
Do you think I was depressed? My research went to wars had never been studied between two people. I did quantitative and qualitative. I defined integrity. No one had defined integrity from a person's perspective. But when I was done, I was immobilized. And that immobility led me away from a very high paid consulting job to do a show called Crust Busting Your Way to an Awesome Life. Let's take a short break. When we come back, I'm telling you, we're going to walk you through what Job went through. Hey, those of you that do the Job thing, I just want to give you a heads up. Job didn't go through a decade or 20. The experts say what Job went through, or if you read the Bhagavad Gita, or it doesn't matter what you read. How about Viktor Frankl? Job had 9 months, and now we talk about Job. Why? Because at the end of Job, he got everything back and then double. So when we come back, if you can double your faith and not double your trouble, if you can double your embodiment, if you can embrace that you are not normal from believing in things you cannot see, that's faith. That's what Joyce Meyer said the other day. We ain't normal. We believe in stuff we don't see. When we come back, you're going to hear a beautiful story. But most importantly, we have a message for you on how to move ahead at light speed. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Are you feeling stuck, drained, or disconnected from your true self? Join Manon Veritch and Dr. Pat on Aligned Energy, where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. Tune in every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Discover how energy awareness and alignment can help you reclaim your power, vitality, and purpose. For more information, visit alignedenergyhealing.com and start your journey today.
Are you a coach, consultant, or CEO who is ready to scale like $1 million leader? Then it's time to make your next big sales move. I'm Carissa Atkins, founder of the Alpha Queen Collective, where we help ambitious women master high-ticket sales, attract premium clients, and lead their empires with unshakable confidence. If you're ready to sell with ease, market with impact, and step fully into your CEO power, head over to www.alphaqueencollective.com.
You're thinking your purpose in life? Become a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist today. Bryn Blankenship is a renowned certified master hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. In addition to her own show, Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons Bringing You Full Circle, Bryn is a popular radio show guest who speaks about her soul expression spiritual regression, her transformative method for finding and following your soul's guidance. For more information on her hypnoregression and afterlife regression certification programs, visit brynblankenship.com.
You ever feel it? That whisper just beneath the surface? A deeper part of you ready to rise? At Aligned Energy, we don't just inspire change, we embody transformation. This is where high-performing women come home to themselves, where the masks fall away and the real you steps forward, powerful, radiant, and fully alive. This is Manon, energy alchemist, transformation coach, and best-selling author, guiding women leaders from burnout to purpose. Together, we will reconnect with your innate wisdom to clear energetic blocks and activate your eros and life force, awakening the sensual, sovereign self within. For the wild-hearted, for the ones ready to get clear, stop performing, and start becoming. This is your invitation to rise and step into your power, purpose, and possibility. Visit alignedenergyhealing.com to book your exploratory call or session today.
Have you ever faced a situation where you weren't quite sure how to handle it with poise, confidence, and grace? Of course you have. We all have. Well, tune in to the Change Mastery Show with me, John J. Murphy. Together, my co-host, Dr. Pat, and I will introduce you to a different way to think about change. Not as something to fear or resist, but as a gift. Join us the second Wednesday of every month at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. Subscribe, share, and start your journey to mastery at johnjmurphy.org.
Welcome back, everyone. And listen, Manon, before we keep going here, I want to make sure people know how to find out more about you, about the work you're doing, what you're organizing. You run circles, you do many, many things. And I'm sure you've got a lot of really cool things on your plate. You know, this year for me, it's playing in a national ping pong championship. But for you,
Right on.
what can
Right
we
on.
what give us an update? And then you just had an event. So please share that.
So the way to reach me is alignedenergyhealing.com. From there, you can go to services and you can see what personal or private healing sessions I offer and modalities. I offer coaching, spiritual coaching, transformation coaching, erotic blueprint, sex and intimacy coaching. They are all interrelated, I guarantee you. So no matter which avenue or door you'd like to come in, over time, we will cover all of it. And then I also have events, which I love throwing. And so one of the things that I did in December for the solstice was partnered up with one of my sisters of soul, Holly, to do a women's empowerment circle. And it was so beautiful. We had women that came in. A lot of women are actually finding Gig Harbor and moving here. So
I
that was really
know.
lovely to have some new people, fresh, excited, spiritual people coming in, and everybody's just trying to find community and like what can we do now to prepare ourselves for the new year. Everybody's carrying so much. Everybody is carrying so much, more than they will let you know, probably. And so it was a beautiful opportunity where we did a couple of guided journeys. One where we went in to work with your higher self to find out what you are meant to shed in this time and get really clear, and then do a cord cutting and some energy transmutation around that and holding space for each other. And then secondly, we did a guided shamanic journey to meet your higher self and do a mirror integration exercise to find that persona of what your higher self is really here for. And it's an embodiment exercise because you see what your true self wants you to see about who you really are, the truth of who you really are. And then we stepped into that and merged and integrated with that, and then felt that in every cell of our body and did some movement to anchor it in. And it was really just a super transformational time. And the big takeaways I believe is that your purpose is really a frequent. I was going to get to this later, but I can't help myself.
Yeah.
The frequency that you're holding is really your purpose. It's not a job. It's not a thing you do. We came here as light workers to hold a frequency. And so by stepping in and embodying that truth of who you are and what you're really here for, it doesn't have to be a job. It just is it's it's a frequency that you're sharing with the world and that it lights you up. You feel alive and energized, but also everybody else is benefiting from that radiance. My mirror
Yeah.
is doing all
Yeah.
kinds of things
No,
with my
I
arms.
want to piggyback on what you said because, first of all, we really do not need to have another conversation about frequency and energy because now the science is there, the studies are there. Go do the rice experiment if you don't believe us. But it's so important because pleasure is a frequency. And I want to talk a minute about what I mean to say. Yes, we work hard, right? I've done a lot of jobs. I really have. I've cleaned bathroom. I mean, I don't even want to go into it. But I used to do it singing. When I got sober, my first meeting, I pretended to be a boy and I looked like a boy. My head was all Sinead O'Connor shaved and everything. And I got a male sponsor that night. I was all beat up and stuff. And before I walked out, myself and two other guys, we worked together for 2 years. He said, you're going to do this. You're going to do this. And you, son, talking to me, you're going to clean the bathrooms, the men's and the women's bathrooms. Whatever was in my frequency, didn't resist it, didn't argue with it. I asked, where are the cleaning materials?
Yeah.
And I went in that men's room and I cleaned those urinals like nobody's business because I needed to have something other than drinking to the point of blacking out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying for people to do that. What I am saying is if you cannot find pleasure in your own life right now, be of service to someone else. The body will tell us about that. The body tells us. It really does. You got a backache, you got a neck ache, you got a this ache, and you don't know how you got it. So tell us a little bit about pleasure and nourishment, because if there's anything that we need to learn more of in 2026, it's that.
Yeah. And I think when I say the word pleasure or when it comes up, I feel like most people instantly think of it in a sexual way or in an indulgent kind of way. And that's not even what I'm talking about, right? It's not what you're talking about.
No.
It just means listening to your body's signals and yeses, what it wants, slowing down. It can certainly mean reclaiming sensual aliveness, but it's it's just that sensation of whatever feels good in the moment. We're so taught to look for pain. In the erotic blueprint coaching, we do something called pleasure first. We start every call, every training, everything with pleasure first. And it's just 5 minutes of finding pleasure instead of pain. Where does it feel good right now?
Yeah.
What if what would feel good right now to just touch my hand, just lightly touch my face, take some deep breaths into my belly, you know, relax my jaw. That's just, and it's just such a terrific reset and something that you can do anytime, any place. So, the reason that I feel like this is worth bringing up here is because pleasure is medicine. Just think about that for a second.
No, it is.
It
Well,
restores your nervous
oh,
system. It reconnects us to our divine wisdom, our intuition. It reconnects us to our creative life force energy. It allows you to come out of your head, into your heart, into your body, and just really have a moment resetting with presence, you know? And for us having lived decades in survival mode, it's a revolutionary concept.
Yeah. And yet, have you ever seen a little baby after it gets what it wants? A little teeny baby pops out, right? Ah, ah. And then it gets what it wants. And pretty soon it starts to have this face that lights up. Where the heck do baby infants learn how to laugh and smile? Who the heck taught that? See, we forget innately that we have a pleasure button. But somewhere along the line, we start to think, I don't deserve it. I'm never going to have it. The world is not going to give it to me. But see, that little baby gets it from within.
Mm-hmm.
It is
That's
the
a,
greatest gift we have from the universe, Manon. How did we forget it?
and why do we feel like we don't deserve to have it? You know, this comes up relatively often in erotic blueprint coaching too, and in a lot of times from exploring pleasure first. Like, why do you feel like you need to rush through pleasure first? Why do you feel like you can't have 5 minutes of pleasure? Why are you numb? Why can't you feel sensation? You know, and there's so much to unpack in that and heal in that. That's like a big part of why I really feel this work is so important. It's not about sex. It's about
No.
presence and reconnecting with your body and allowing yourself to feel alive
Mm,
again. And I call it like orgasmic energy, but it's
yeah,
really that tingling and that zest of just feeling alive and
yeah.
in the present moment. So it's multidimensional,
I
right?
love it.
It's physical, it's emotional, it's energetic. You can just feel the cells, you know, and it's spiritual. And when
It's
women
spiritual.
embody the pleasure, they become magnetic.
Yeah. Linda and I are watching this show on Netflix, right? It's very rare that we watch the same things. We're totally different people. I could watch like any horror film like 100 times, but we're watching this show and it's called Culinary Class Wars. And it's
Okay.
Asian. It's an Asian cooking show. Now, why am I talking about it? It isn't so much about the chefs. The chefs are amazing. First of all, I love Asian food. Uh, it's about the judges. When you watch the judge, two guys, two judges, chefs, put the blind thing on, and then and they put one giant mouthful of food. That's all they get to taste, and they get one and giant mouthful, and they're fed this, and you watch them chew slowly, and the expression on their face, and you watch, and they go, and they're like forever, not like we eat, but they're chewing, and they go, that's interesting.
Yeah.
See, we want to complicate how to nurture ourselves. Time is a man-made concept.
Yep.
The universe doesn't have time.
And we're
But
always racing and
thank
rushing
you.
and in the future or in the
Thank you.
past.
How
But
do
if
we
we
let go?
just could
How do
be
we
here
let go?
right now, what would that feel like? Yeah. 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 I can see you savoring that food in your mouth right now.
God, I'm still, I mean, It was so fascinating for me. And it got me inspired to go back to cooking Asian food again.
Yeah.
Um, and I watched these people prepare it. There's something about the delicacy of watching great chefs take one little strand with a little tweezer and delicately put it on a perfectly cooked scallop. And then to top that with an amazing sauce. And then maybe some beautiful salmonades. I mean, you get one bite on this show, every piece, and it takes hours to get the broth right, where you're going to have a half a spoonful of the broth on the spoon.
Yeah.
And these two judges have to get it right. Do you think they would be able to do this if they didn't let go of every other contestant that came before? Every other thought about what they had. So help us understand now, in the time we have left,
Yeah.
this is not the time now. This is a 1 year. We cannot bring the sludge over from the past, can we?
No. And um, I believe that we all know that well, most of us know that the snake year was the year of shedding and letting go. According to the zodiac cycle, we have one more month, everybody,
Yep.
until mid-February when we turn into the fire horse zodiac year. And whatever you have not shed that you need to shed is going to feel even more resistance and pain and suffering. So the invitation is, even if you've already looked at what you want to let go, maybe you've intentionally let go and even done ceremonies around the obvious things, like I'm not going to people please anymore. I'm going to say no when I mean no. Dig deeper. There's always more layers, and I really have been doing this a lot with myself. Like before you can run hard and fast and have all this momentum and action that we're going to have starting in February, you can't be held back, and anything that's holding you back is going to it's going to it's going to be harder
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. And it only happens every 60 years. 1966 was the last time.
Yeah, this is it, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I woke up and became a crazy rebel girl.
In 66?
66 is when
Oh, no
when I
kidding.
shed every conservative concept
No
that I
kidding.
grew up with.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is we have time now. Let's be intentional. Is that a word, intentional? Oh my God, I didn't even know.
Intentional.
Intentionable. Okay, that's what I do. I make words up. But if we're intentionable, then we can now think of, don't you love that word?
You're
We
just
can,
going with it. I love it.
I'm going with, help us walk through what we can do now to plan. We have time. Tell us.
Yeah. So I would say that along the same lines that your dharma is, it's not the path of least resistance, it's going to be the path of most resistance. So I would say that as your soul continues to get louder and this world that we're living in gets faster, be intentional about choosing the frequency that you want to embody. I'm definitely here if you want to work with me on coming into a space to find what that is, whether it's in the faith, the pleasure, the purpose, anything else. But just practice being with your body in that for at least 5 minutes a day. I prefer to do it before I even get out of bed. It's a little bit like priming. You get that energy moving where you're open to more creation and flow, and just listen and feel and notice what comes up in your body. Journal about it. That's a great way to be able to see over time, how things are evolving. And then I would say when like I had mentioned before, it took me a while to really speak my truth. Say the brave thing. Say it to yourself, say it out loud, say it to someone else. Your words have power. And whether it's saying something that you're ready to let go of and just not live like that anymore, not tolerate anymore. Even more importantly, say what you're calling in, speak it in the present sense, and speak it into existence, because embodiment is honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Manon, thank you for today, but I also want people to know how they can work with you directly, because what you and I are talking about today, I did not go through my life without help, and I still don't do that. But can you tell folks how they can work with you, please?
Mm-hmm. I would love to start with a phone call. If it's not obvious to you where you would like to start, you can book a call at alignedenergyhealing.com. There's a big button at the top, and we can find a time to just talk through what's going on in your life, what kinds of things that you're looking for, and then whether it's through transformation coaching, whether it's through diving into your erotic blueprint, finding out how to feed and nourish yourself, or just coming in and connecting with energy healing, I would say that's a fantastic place to start, because we are all carrying so many energies that aren't serving us, and so much static in our field, that whether it's me or somebody else, I highly recommend that you go in and just have that energy cleared out. You'll feel so much lighter and more clarity, and just more pep in your step, and just start to have some kind of a practice where you're continuing to clear out these energies, because we're getting them internally, we're getting them from things that have been in our field for a really long time, we're getting them from other people, from all the 7 billion people in this world, we're picking things up from being connected to the earth. There's no escaping it. All we can do now is learn how to transmute it and move it through us, so that we can continue to be a clear, open channel to receiving whatever wisdom's coming in for us.
Thank you so much for today. And for those of you out there, please don't hesitate. I think Manon and I both, we work with coaches because we were never meant to be stuck. We were never meant to be halted. We were meant to experience life fully. And that includes every aspect of who you are. But sometimes in the world, we bring things with us. We have experiences. We have resentments, things that have harmed us, hurt us. And if you want to know how to let them go, get a hold of Manon. Manon, thank you so much for
You're
everything.
welcome. Thank you. Great conversation. Love
Yeah.
it.
And remember, you got till February, folks, before the fire horse comes in. So let's get that going. We'll see you
Get
next
on
time. Get on it. That's right.
it.
Thank you for listening to Aligned Energy, where ancient wisdom meets modern health and wellness. This is Manon.
And I'm Dr. Pat.
Join us for more inspiration to step into your power and reconnect with your inner wisdom. Be sure to tune in every second Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. I invite you to like and subscribe to Aligned Energy with Manon on your favorite platform. And if you're ready to go deeper, visit alignedenergyhealing.com to book a healing or coaching session or schedule a complimentary discovery call. Until next time, stay aligned, stay empowered, and embrace the energy that is uniquely yours. See you next time.